from the director of Back to the Future and Fearless Grump. A special Crypt presentation with a very special guest star. Don't miss the season finale of Tales from the Crypt, coming in February on HBO.
Scary is as scary does.
Next on HBO. Two men stalk the dangerous...
In the musty catacombs, deep beneath an old abandoned house, a movie crew toils.
You're right. Action!
And remember, kiddies, be careful what you ask for. You may get it.
Perfect. One more.
One more? Have him killed. Oh, hello, kiddies. Just taking 5 from the set of my newest Tales from the Crypt, You Murderer. It's directed by Mr. Bob Forrest Gump Zemeckis.
Yes, I want to report a murder.
No. This is our 80th episode, and in honor of this historic event, HBO has asked me to take you on a tiptoe through the tombstones of Tales Past. It's a resurrection, if you will, of my greatest hits. All the stars.
Oh, too sexy for my hair.
I respect you, Joe. Get the medics.
The action. The gore. Are you ready? Better fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy fright.
The Crypt-Keeper presents a spine-tingling look at Tales from the Crypt.
The latest tale from my collection may be the most twisted yet.
Put your hands up where I can see him.
Nuts. Rigor mortis.
You Murderer has it all. There's deceit,
You're having an affair with her.
murder,
He's looking at you, kid.
double cross,
I knew it.
and sex.
You're great and bad.
These are a few of my favorite things. Now, as I said, it's directed by Robert Zemeckis.
Action.
And if you know Bob, you know he's never been one to run screaming from a challenge. Before Fearless Gump, he directed Back to the Future and Who Destroyed Roger Rabbit. In this episode of Tales from the Crypt, Bob's gone completely out of his mind, resurrecting one of the screen's biggest stars.
Ain't that a kick in the ass?
I guess the lead is Humphrey Bogart.
I was born and bred on Humphrey Bogart, so I never thought I'd get to act with him.
Slay it again, Sam.
It's a classic film noir. As you are led to believe this person is going to murder you, you find out that that person is there to murder you, and that person is there to murder both of you.
Hubba, hubba.
And Isabella's all got up like her mother.
I don't know what's right any longer. You have to do the thinking for both of us. Kiss me. Kiss me as if it were the last time.
Isabella Rossellini looking like Ingrid Bergman and killing Humphrey Bogart.
I can't believe I'm listening to this.
It's perfect.
Perfect indeed.
Seems that destiny is taking a hand.
See, Lou, played by Humphrey Bogart, is married to Betty. I'm leaving you! But Betty and Oscar, that's Lou's best friend, have made other plans.
Your suicide note is rather eloquent. I almost cried when I wrote it.
Told you it was a twisted tale. But that shouldn't shock you. I've been coming up with twisted tales since I was knee-high to a toadstool. Yuck. How do I do it? Listen closely, kiddies. Here's the secret formula for constructing a Tales episode.
They open in some kind of conflict.
The question is, can we be separated?
He works in a blood bank.
She goes to a psychic.
He knows about this doctor.
So I know that the monsters are loose in this house.
The only way I can get it off is if I marry both of them.
Her destiny is to meet a very large man.
Let me give you a dose of extra strength, Charlie.
There's a good guy and a bad guy, and they both die.
One despicable character doing something despicable to another despicable character.
Somebody sent her those pictures in the mail. She knows all about me.
The transformations of body parts.
Fake heart attacks, they eat each other.
I ended up chopping this guy's head in half with a buzzsaw. Meat cleaver coming out of his neck and the blood. And
there's always something weird going on.
What the hell?
Too bad, Brad.
No, it's the good guy gets his comeuppance, and the bad guy's a chance to go on and live and do it again.
To us.
The hell with us, here's to the money.
The shows are always kind of macabre, a little sexy.
Trying to effectuate a successful merger with my husband.
Well, I'm trying to make medical history. Which is more important?
The more I do it, the more I want to do it.
And in the end, that despicable character dies in a very horrific way.
You see, I had her embalmed.
That's impossible.
No, it's the law. One can't be too careful in this climate.
And it's all carefully crafted to make you at home scream your head off.
Oh, darling, there goes another nail.
They're laughing and screaming at the same time and just kind of choking.
Yeah, and by the end they throw up usually.
That's what we're counting on.
That's what we hope for.
Yeah.
It's been used, I hate to make the comparison, but from Shakespeare on up, who was also quite violent and quite brutal and quite exciting. I think if he were alive today, he'd love to do one of these.
Shakespeare working on a tale? I like that.
Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. And today's been a real bitch.
It's time for a ghastly crypt moment. Cut to the clip.
It's happy hour. It was a wonderful little character. In this particular one, I got to play the good guy, really, even though he's a vampire, but he's a reluctant vampire. I remember once jumping up and down on a dummy, and trying to empty the blood out, and that was kind of fun.
Thanks for your business.
A lot of wonderful V8 juice, I remember.
All right. So now you know my secret recipe for madness and mayhem. And don't you worry, kiddies. You murderer fits it to a T. So, action.
This is an idea of Bob's that he's had for a long time, to tell an entire story from the point of view of a dead man.
Well, he's not dead the whole time. Like most dead people, he starts out alive. But like I said, Betty and Oscar have other plans.
Pupils are dilated. He's dead, all right.
Well, ain't that a kick in the ass?
But if he's dead, how come it looks like he can still see us?
Yeah, it's creepy.
It was Casablanca meets Weekend at Bernie's.
Come on, let's get his feet.
The camera operator was, in fact, an actor for most of the show. I mean, he had to not only operate the camera, but he was in wardrobe all the time, and he had to use at least one of his hands and his feet and whatever.
The camera moves as his eyes would move.
Yes. Rehearsal, please.
I think I've got it.
Louis, you bastard! You're having an affair with her.
That's right, sugar.
I call it the Diddy Cam.
It's all in one take. There are no cuts from different people's point of view. It's only one person's point of view.
I'm the one that performed plastic surgery on you. I'm the guy that changed your face.
Yeah, and made me look like Bogart.
You know how hard that was?
We talk directly to the camera because the camera is his eyes.
And I'm your accomplice. If you go down, I go down. Why would I spill my guts to anyone, let alone your wife?
It's like everything that you learned about acting, forget it. Look into the camera.
Oh, and did I forget to mention Lou has a girlfriend?
Here's looking at you, kid. Kid. Go.
Sure, that's swell, I reckon.
So the shots go wandering around watching us behave. in the room.
You know, I can look up, here's looking at you kids. We'll both look out at the group and they go, right, love it.
Come out here like this, gun, and just pan the room slowly, one time. Get over here, lift the gun out.
Over to the couch.
Move it. I think you should see the sofa and not worry about him anymore. And then head to it, and then there's Isabella, and he's just giving you the eye. Really get to it. And before you sit down... No! He's almost like performing on stage or in the theater, where they are, in fact, in control of the pacing of the scene.
Drop the gun, Lou.
Drop the gun, Lou.
We did a scene today that took 3.5 minutes, which may not sound like a long time, but in a movie, that's a very long time. Basically, we worked all day just to get this one shot.
I told Oscar you were going to be here in 8 minutes, and you made it in 7.5. Pretty good time for somebody who's about to kill himself.
Go on, get up.
Oh, that Bob. Such a perfectionist. And that's fine, but let's talk about something really interesting. Like me, there wouldn't be a Tales from the Crypt without the crypt-keeper. It's hard to believe it's been 80 episodes. Why, it seems like only yesterday. It wasn't easy in the early days for a struggling, rotting, disgusting fiend on my own in Horrorwood. I felt somehow different. Get out of here!
We met him once or twice early on when we were all kind of down and out.
Well, you know, what I heard is that he was parking cars initially when he first came out.
Sorry! I took my precious tales to every studio in town and was rejected. To them, I was just a freak with some moldy comic books. But every ghoul has his dream, and my dream was to bring Tales from the Crypt to the stairwaves. I lassoed the top directors and producers in town. Richard Donner, David Giler, Bob Zemeckis, Walter Hill, Joel Silver, and brought them all to HBO.
We owe a lot to him because if it wasn't for him, we really wouldn't be here. I mean, you know, he found a lot of these stories and he kind of came up with the ideas of how to do them.
Put your money where your mouth is.
He's a very special character.
They liked me. They really liked me.
He's the kind of guy you want to hang out with, have a beer once in a while. It spills out of him. He's gentle, sweet, dedicated young man with a future.
Once my Tales from the Crypt hit the airwaves, it was an instant hit. Ah, the parties, the premieres, the babes. Soon, the biggest stars in Hollywood were kissing up to yours truly.
That's a decomposing body there. That's your host for the show.
There goes the neighborhood.
Think about that.
Well, we used to deal with him directly. Now we deal with his agent a lot.
And his manager, and his press rep. The crypt-keeper is a pain in the ass.
But I'll tell you one thing, I wouldn't want to cross the guy.
He's real. He's flesh and blood.
He terrifies me, and I'm glad that he shoots his stuff by himself.
I try never to go to that crypt set because you never know what you're going to see, bubbling things and weird, rotting things. It smells terrible.
That hideous laugh.
God, I'd like to strangle him, wouldn't you?
That's about the extent of the crypt-keeper, who I really don't care about one way or the other.
Gotta find a way to kill him.
Isabella, you can kill me anytime, sweetie. Fire! But just don't forget where all these tasty tenor tales came from. My famous EC comics. You know they were banned in the 50s.
Oh, he's dead?
No, he's dead.
What do you mean he's dead?
He's dead. Charlie, put the knife down now. Yeah.
I remember those comics, you know, when I was a kid. I loved them.
Shock suspense stories, jolting tales of tension. Most of the comics provide us with a jumping off point to expand the stories.
Part of the fun of those comics, if you remember, were the visuals. Like like the angles that you look at people and all that. And I think they really tried to capture that in the show.
I told you Stan would come.
They really are shot the way they were originally conceived.
He's armed and extremely dangerous.
And very rich. Bitches on my tail. How much you weigh anyway? A lot heavier than you look.
God, no! Don't you come down here! Boy! Come get...
We do try very hard to maintain the tone and the black humor and the irony of the story.
Exactly why I chose Bob Zemeckis to direct You Murderer.
This is the man who blended live action and animation in Roger Rabbit, who put Tom Hanks together with John F. Kennedy.
And did you know he also directed 2 other tasty tales? My very first, All Through the House, and Yellow.
I always enjoy pushing and stretching.
This is the first time I've been caught up in this kind of whirling imagination of his.
My favorite scene is the one where John and Isabella are dragging the corpse around the apartment, and we actually have the camera mounted on this cadaver as they're carrying him around the apartment. And to me, that was like a great scene. I'm always trying to experiment and do things that are a little bit different.
Okay, open up.
Uh-oh, it's time for another ghastly crypt moment. Cut to the clip.
Here I am in this haunted house, and I make it into a bedroom, and I'm yelling to get me out of here. Get me out of here! I want to get out of here! Where the lamp comes over, I throw the lamp to get away from her. That, incidentally, was real, because she slipped a little bit on the carpet and started to come forward with that saw, and I took the lamp and threw it in the way of it, because it wasn't a fake saw. That was a real saw. And I could have lost several of my teeth, maybe several of my chins, too. That wouldn't have been too bad.
Tales has always been a place where big Hollywood stars get a chance to die in horrible, painful ways.
Hey, get out of here with that! Are you crazy?
But Tales is also a place where big Hollywood stars get to direct and make other Hollywood stars die in horrible, painful ways.
You will be obliterated. Now.
You dead, Bruce. Bob Zemeckis, came to me, and he said if I ever wanted to do one, I could do one.
It is that, 100% use of your imaginative skills.
I came to him and said, I'm not good with the eyeballs coming out and, blood and guts and all that stuff.
Huh?
But if you get me a really good, sick, black, sick, awful, terrible comedy, I think I could do it.
Now that's more like it.
The most important quality for a director is to have good shoes. That's what Joel Silver told me.
Preston Sturges said that the filmmaker makes the film. And that's really true, We got all these guys waiting for me to tell them what to do. And I say, damn it, I need that tail to be 26 inches high. Well, it's 26 inches high when I come in. Ooh, that's a good feeling.
It's strange, but it's fun,
I enjoyed directing, working with the actors and all that.
Glad I did it.
Oh, to do Tales from the Crypt, you bet.
Not a bad stable of talent, wouldn't you agree? I've never regretted giving them a chance to hop up into the director's chair, and I don't think I'll regret giving Bob another crack at it. Although he does seem to be getting just a bit carried away.
It's not just a moving camera that we say is somebody's eyes. We actually design sections and reflections into the story so that we can actually see that the guy does exist.
Don't go soft on me, Lou. We did it for each other then, we do it for each other now.
I know, Dad.
I told you he was getting carried away. Fortunately, Bob's got a few friends at Industrial Fright and Magic. The only special effects house in the world that could bring Bogey back to life.
What's our alternative, Lou? The electric chair?
I wish you hadn't said that.
Cut.
Okay, good.
You all right?
Yes, fine. What can I do to make it better?
He watches everything that I shoot because he's going to have all the elements and background plates and pieces that he's going to need to put the film together.
Print it, next case. Very nice. Good. Do we need a blank?
So once we finished shooting, we took our footage and we sent it up to ILM where they were able to put on Bogey's head.
Bogey's head.
I think it will be really exciting and interesting to see it all put together.
I don't even ask how they do things. It's so far beyond me.
Now this gets very technical, so do try to stay with me.
Using the computer, we take these splines.
Splines? Don't you mean spines?
Each one of those is segmented together by the computer for the roto-mats, of course.
Well, everyone knows the roto-mat.
And you do these sort of points around the head. They're little...
Splines?
Plot points, essentially.
I knew that. First, we have to take Rick, the cameraman, out of the shot, which is easy, because we've got these marks to help us line it up. But wait a second. It's a reflection in the mirror, so it's backwards. Well, that's going to screw us up. We could reverse the image. No, that wouldn't work.
You do all of these augmentation strips you put on the face.
So, you take the plot point in the rotomat and add in the splines, connect it with the augmentation. Who cares? The point is, people die. Everyone dies. It's Tales from the Crypt.
It's simple.
Computer geek.
Well, I think this technology is very exciting because there's no way in the past you could do sort of the things that I'm able to do now. In Forrest Gump, we put Tom Hanks in archival footage. What we're doing in this episode is we're actually extracting Humphrey Bogart out of older movies and putting him in our new footage.
This really is taking a lot of the information we got from Gump and expanding on it in some different ways that they're actually, in some respects, a little more difficult. Bring in Bogey now.
Bogey's head!
It looked very different in many different scenes, so we had to try and adjust the lighting, adjust the tone, adjust the size and shape of his face. Do you want to see more of his shoulder as well? Or?
The eyes that we're replacing in every single Bogey shot, because he has to be looking right at us, has to be done a little better with some of the subtler nuances working.
Nice move, Lou. You learned that in prison?
Nah, that's a little trick I picked up in Benny's shooting gallery at Coney Island. And if you don't quit stalling, I'll show you some other tricks I learned in Brooklyn.
Well, it's always better than you can imagine. That's what's so great about working with ILM, because everyone understands that, hey, we're doing something that no one's ever seen before.
Computers, point-of-view cameras, whatever happened to good old-fashioned bloodletting? Well, these Hollywood types, they're all mad scientists at heart, and here is HBO's Tales from the Crypt. They can really cut loose.
Hey guys, I'm getting pretty good at this.
For Tales, you can really try something like I'm doing in this episode, to shoot everything from the point of view of a corpse.
We offer roles that are very different than these people have had before. So maybe a comic would play something serious, or someone very serious actor would play something very comedic.
Tell everybody about us. Don't put us away in a dark place. Lock us up with all the other freaks. Now do it. Chop his head in two. Get out of my head.
Yeah, that was a wonderful one. I mean, that was Don Rickles.
Well, the whole idea was that I was trying to get rid of the dummy, and so I got an axe and I started to chop and chop and chop, and Dennis says, more, give me more, give me more, and I was banging and banging.
You're very good. Okay, let's shoot it this time.
It gives you a chance to just have a bit of fun. They want to die. They want to kill or be killed.
Then fire it up. I'm starving.
It's already hot.
No, 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 no!
Once I got into it, the gorier the better.
It was high time I did something completely silly.
You were like an invited guest in this wild party, basically is what it was.
I think it gave the actors and the directors and the writers and everybody involved in this so far a tremendous opportunity to experiment. When you do a Tales, you can kind of try things.
They say electric current so fast the brain gets cooked just as soon as the switch is throwed. Prisoner never feels a thing. Boy, I'd hate to think that was true.
People have often accused me of using certain themes again and again and again. And I never understood what they meant. Theme. A reoccurring idea or image. Let's see. Well, there's power tools. Mad scientists. Werewolves.
That whole hair on the back thing's always been a big turnoff for me.
Mama! There's been 28 prickings by pointies, 17 whackings, 2 puppet murders.
Hey.
Anyone can die. Coming back is the tricky part.
Take me, Logan. I burn with desire.
Now we'll be together by love.
Enough about reoccurring themes. Let's talk about reoccurring screams. Oh, sorry. Just caught up in the moment. It's time for another ghastly crypt moment. My vote for best extended scream by a female lead goes to Mary Ellen Trainor in All Through the House.
We gave that screenplay to Bill Gaines. And here's the guy who invented EC Comics, and the only note that he had was, be sure she's screaming her head off. He said, just keep screaming, and it was like ridiculously long scream, but it was absolutely appropriate and a perfect way to end the episode.
Now, how should we end this little horror fest? I was thinking maybe something sensitive, heart-wrenching, and touching.
It's a very charming series.
It's worked out to be truly one of the great experiences of my life.
Making short films in the way that we're able to do it for HBO is wonderful.
You know, it's Tales from the Crypt, and they kind of walk with pride around here because they're Tales from the Crypt. So they do blood and sex and violence in their half hours, and they really like that.
No, I said sensitive, heart-wrenching, and touching. Now that's more like it. Show's over, folks. Time to go home. Well, okay. Once more.
Welcome back to the world of the living, little brother.
I love my job.